Tuesday, September 30th, 9 a.m. And a roll call.
Higgins,
Here.
Matten,
Here.
O'Day,
Here.
England.
Stand for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we move on to item number 4, can we add the resolution requesting the issuance and sale by the city of Brainerd of general obligation bonds payable from net revenues to the city's utilities under new business, item E?
Okay.
And then I would make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Turn your microphones on, please.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Thank you.
Okay. Next is a consent calendar. This is notice to the public. All matters listed are considered routine by the commission and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time commission votes on the motion to be adopted by roll call. Approval of the minutes, approval of bills, approve surplus items for auction, and D is approve final pay application Minger Construction for River Crossing Force Main, the final $15,000.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Roll call?
Higgins,
Yes.
Matten,
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes. Next up is public forum, time allocated for citizens to bring matters not on the agenda to the attention of the commission. Time limits may be imposed. Anyone here for public forum? No? Okay, we'll move on to commission committee reports. Personnel committee?
We met by phone, but so we'll cover most of this in today's agenda, so.
Okay. Finance operations committee?
We met one time, we talked about the request for the pilot to be changed and a few other things, but I think the rest of it will be addressed in the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business, you have a list there. Is there any updates that we need to talk about or questions?
I'll give a couple to the commission. We have the block metrics request that's in the commission packet that we'll discuss. Climavision, we're working with Langle on updating that language for getting that on the tower. And then I guess one of the biggest updates from the hydro generation bar will have something for us next month. There is some technologies that they found that are promising.
Okay, thank you, Danny. And then next then is to the discussion of the block matrix contract. You want to start us out, Danny?
I can start. So Blockmetrics reached out. We've played phone tag a little bit, had a couple meetings that were canceled, rescheduled, a bunch of back and forth there. I was able to speak with them last Monday where we got on the phone, and they have proposed the attached agreement for commission's consideration. I have provided in the agenda request kind of the timeline of events that led us to where we are today, starting back of April of last year, and then moving up to today for your consideration. I guess what the staff would be looking for is a direction on how we want to move forward with the agreement and any questions or comments the commission has that we could bring back to them, or how you would like to proceed. Some of the main points that have been highlighted in the agenda request was a proposal of the agreement's extension of the term. The extended agreement that we had discussed started this month, and then with that 6-month extension occurring in March, or that's that time for the liquidating damages clause. They've proposed the agreement start here in October and goes for 2 years with automatic renewal terms. They've proposed an extension of startup time from September of '25 this month to October of next year, 2026. They have proposed reimbursement of all costs incurred by Blockmetrics for services to the site if the agreement terminates within the next 10 years. They have proposed the removal of section 5.11, which would disallow generation construction and purchase outside of the BPU service territory. They have proposed adjusting the liquidated damages clause from March 30 of 2026 to April of from March 30 of 26 to September of 2026 that matches the extended startup time. And then propose removal of costs for the Minnesota Renewable Energy Standard state requirements. Those are the highlighted items that were proposed as I read through the agreement, and staff will be looking for any direction from commission.
You want to go first?
Well, I spent quite a while on this. I had 1,001 questions, I feel like, but my questions that I have, when they propose these changes, who besides staff and now our eyeballs are looking at this, their changes?
Kayla Brennan, the
Okay.
Spencer Fain attorney who helped draft the agreement originally, has also looked at it.
All right, so because I still am struggling with an extension of an agreement we never even had with them. So, and I do realize that under 16.1, this entire agreement really just constitutes a brand-new agreement. So why are we looking at an extension, first and foremost? It'd be my question. But I have questions such as Minnesota Power. Are there any issues, ongoing issues with transmission? I mean, I know at one point, and maybe I can just throw out a bunch, I don't have, I mean, you don't have to answer each and every one, only because there are so many questions that I would still have that I feel like we should be able to get to ask, did you say Kayla? Some of those questions, but the other piece of it is, why wouldn't they just accept what we've given them? I mean, the ball is in their court, they've given it back to us. I don't know that we are responding, other than if I ask the questions now, I feel like they accept it or they don't accept what we are proposing. I think we've kicked this around long enough. I'm not really sure if that it warrants another response from us. This was what we were willing to agree to with this original agreement, and we waited over a year to get a response back for them, or almost a year. That's all I really have to say, unless you want me to go through each and every one of my questions.
Well, I'll just see what I guess I have to say. All of these 6 items that they're asking for changes, I'm against, totally. I will not accept any of those changes. We're already have this same contract with, just for crypto. I'm not willing to start changing and have the expectations that, we're going to go back and start changing their contract. We've already set the precedent with them. Our attorney said that contract was fine. I'm sure that there's others out there who would be willing to go with the contract that we've proposed. So, I mean, I would just like to tell them that, no, we're not accepting your red line version, and that if you're willing to accept the contract that we've proposed, you have until 5 days prior to our next meeting. That's what I would like to see done. And if they don't accept or don't respond, we're done.
Mr. Chair, can I
Yes,
ask a
Jeff.
point of order? The two of you essentially have to decide this. I'm sorry, Mr., I didn't believe, yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
So I believe Mr. Higgins is abstaining, and so it's up to the two. I just want to make sure we recognize that.
Yep,
So if
you're right. Yep, I should have mentioned that. Thanks, Jeff.
So is that what I'm hearing you say at this point? We're just going to give it back to them with our original agreement, with an accept or not accept, and let us know 5
By-
days prior to the
By
next
whatever
meeting?
that date is. I don't know what our next meeting date is.
I actually don't have that. Last Tuesday of October.
28th or 9th? 28th.
28th. of October, so we'd be
So by the 20,
22nd?
yeah.
So I guess if that was kind of the route we're going, then I would make that motion.
And I would second it. So I guess we'll have roll call on this.
The one thing I'm wondering with Mark running the meeting, do we have,
A
is Mark
quorum?
able to second?
Do I need to take the gavel?
There we go, that'll work. So roll call, so the motion was Dolly, seconded by Mark. And the motion is to not accept the red line version of the contract, resubmit our original contract, and they have until 5 days before the next meeting, which is October 22nd, to accept.
Yes.
Okay. And roll call would be Dolly,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Higgins.
Abstain.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. Approve award CMAR contract, Rice Lake Construction.
I can take that one, too.
Yep.
So we had advertised for the construction management at risk contract for the reclamation tank at the water treatment facility. We had advertised through September 4th, 2025 at 4 PM. We received 3 submissions by that deadline. We interviewed all 3 of those contractors for that deadline. There was a committee that interviewed, was myself, Trent, Charlie, Mike England, Nick Broyles, and then Bolton Mank, Mac Grotman, and Morgan Salo were on that committee to guide that discussion. Coming out of committee, the recommendation is to award the CMAR to Rice Lake Construction Group, and the scores and everything with the fees are on the next page summarized by Bolton Mank.
Anybody have any comments?
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is direction requested on donation of paint of main lift buildings.
So we received from a Rotarian a request to donate paint to paint the main lift structures down by Rotary Park. The donation was for materials only, so we're requesting what commission would like to do as far as accepting or recommending accepting that donation to council. A couple of the items we'd like to point out is the main lift is on the project priority list for being rebuilt and revamped. We do not know the results of that. We're expecting the results of that PPL list here in December. I'm looking at Charlie.
Yeah, we are continuing forward with MPCA in the process to rebuild that station. So, but it can be taken up to 3 years if we even got fully funded. So that's where we are at.
So they're asking for the paint and they're gonna paint it?
They will provide the paint for us to paint. We'd have to hire someone to do the painting, is my understanding. So that would be the request from commission is, do we want to accept the donation of the paint and then go out for a quote? Would we like to have staff go get a quote, figure out what painting would be before we accept a donation?
Well, the other thought is it worth it if we're gonna be redoing it?
Oh, we don't know that yet. We don't know if it's going to be.
Funded.
So
are
we're
we
looking
gonna-
for,
Yeah, and you gave us 4 options, may I?
Yeah.
Okay, you gave us 4 options, and I appreciate that. I think it's just our financial responsibility to at least pursue a quote for painting. So I think, my personal preference, I would defer the donation. I'm very thankful for wow, that was a very kind gesture. But we should know what it's going to cost us to be able to paint it, because if it does have to, if it isn't anything that we're going to do until 3-4 years down the road, I can understand why they would want to beautify the building a little bit. So it's very, very much appreciated, but I do think we should probably defer until we know how much the painting it will cost. But I suspect it's going to be something, it'll be a no-brainer when we get the labor cost back. But I think we need to be responsible and at least get an idea of an estimate.
Mr. Chair.
Jeff?
Seeing as how you don't know if it's going to be replaced, perhaps staff could go back and say, well, let's wait and see what happens. And if the commission does move forward with replacing and it still needs paint, maybe see if they'd be willing to participate in that cost. You're going to have some, unless it doesn't need painting. I'm not sure how that works. Just an idea I had. Of course, my concern was if they're going to provide the paint, if you were to move forward with that and then have labor costs, which Dolly's referencing, are they then going to determine what type and color of paint? Do we have a say in that? I was just going to mention that in case that's an issue. And then, of course, there's Mayor Bedeau. He was painting the fence there at College Drive. Maybe he'd be willing to do the labor. So, just a thought.
If I may, I will definitely approach him.
Is there a motion then?
I would make the motion because, I would only make the assumption, and I don't ever want to assume that if the donation is for the paint, it would be for the proper paint that we would require or request for the deferring the decision until we get an estimate for labor.
So the motion is to table till next month?
My motion would be to pursue an estimate for labor and then defer the decision till next month once we do get the estimate back.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would just say that getting paint donated, any of the projects I've done on old building, the paint's the cheapest part. The labor and what's underneath of it and prep, environmental issues, everything else is the most expensive part. So I think some due diligence on staff's part are important.
Okay, thank you, Mike. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Then we move on to direction on pilot contribution to the city. Danny,
Yes, so.
you want to start? And then-
I can start, or Nick can jump in at any time too. But City Council has requested that commission consider changing the pilot payment. So right now, the pilot payment is the contribution that we make to the city. The contribution is based on our kilowatt hour sales. So there's a rate of 0.0045 cents per kilowatt hour on all sales but the industrial load's at 0.0025. All based on kilowatt hour sales. The request from council was to adjust that contribution from a kilowatt hour basis to percent of revenue basis, with that percent of revenue being 3% in 26, 4% in 27, and 5% in 28. The basis for that is some of the APPA literature that was out there, and then the challenges with the kilowatt hour sales are decreasing annually, but revenues are going up. But that was the request from council. Included in the packet is the information that has been supplied to council when they first asked, and over the last couple meetings. This has been to the PNF committee and full council for discussion. The numbers associated with that, we had a pilot payment of about $750,000 estimated through the end of this year. Last year, we had $768,245. A 3% on revenue basis would be an increase of about $53,000. But the 4 and 5% in 27, 28 would be an increase over that increase even, so we'd be looking at 310 to 350,000 additional in contribution going to council. And I'm available for any questions, or if Nick, if there's anything to add additionally. I know in the packet, there was some, Nick had reached out to other administrators on the League of Minnesota Cities, so some of their information is all there for your consideration as well.
Dolly's looking at me, so I'll say a few words. So yeah, there's lots of things in the packet. I'm sure you've had a chance to review it. Just the brief history, I think Danny summed it up very well. Council asked staff to explore pilot contributions. So I have a platform that I can reach out to all the other city administrators that are part of League of Minnesota Cities. I got maybe 15 or 16 responses. All those responses are in the packet. They kind of run the spectrum of the different responses. It's interesting, a lot of other communities are having similar conversations right now, so this is clearly of interest to a lot of other communities. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. All of my responses are in there. All of my responses, I think, to Danny, when we've exchanged some emails, are in there. I've sent out a couple of emails to our attorney, Joe Langle, asking where the authority resides for pilot and his responses. Was that in the packet, Danny?
I did not have that in the packet.
Okay.
Did I have that?
Well, here, I'm gonna just read very briefly, because this is your guys' time, not mine. So I sent Joe, our attorney, 2 questions. I said, who maintains the authority to set the pilot from the utility to the general fund? His response was, the charter provides that the payment is per a BPU commission policy, amended and approved by the city council. His interpretation of that is to mean that the commission has input into the policy, but ultimately the final decision is the council's. And the second question was not really related to this, but Danny can maybe speak to this too. Some questions were asked. In other states, there have been some lawsuits from UFS going after municipalities that are over-aggressive in their pilot, requests, demands, however you want to phrase it. So I'll try to answer any questions you have, but I think all the information that I have is in the packet.
Thank you, Nick. Jeff, you're also mentioned as a presenter here. Do you have anything further to add?
I got questions. Maybe Nick would be willing, if the policy is cited in the charter, that specific Public Utility Commission policy, and I think Danny provided minutes from 2022, it said the council is asking the Public Utilities Commission to amend the policy. If they're asking, why is it then the final authority on them? On the city council to make the decision?
Jeff, that's really a legal question. I can't comment on that. There could be lots of reasons to do that. It could be a tactic, it could be courtesy, it could be politeness, it could be that that's the law. I wouldn't feel comfortable answering that. That's more of a legal question in my opinion.
But that was never asked of Joe Langle.
If you want me to ask Joe Langle a question, I'll ask him any question you'd like.
So he never got asked that question?
I read you the 2 questions I specifically asked him.
Okay, and then maybe, Nick, you'd be willing to, if the rate goes up or revenue is increased, however it's done, that's revenue that the utility commission is not going to receive based on the rate increase going to the city. And with the projects that the utility has forthcoming, does it not imply with a larger amount of revenue from that pilot going to the city, that just automatically implies that the rates for the public are going to have to be increased by the utility commission in order to offset the revenue that the commission isn't receiving?
I think that, I agree, dollars are finite. I think we're conflating 2 issues in my mind. There's operational issues, which are certainly real issues, and there's policy issues. I'm not in a position to set policy. I'm not going to set policy, but I will implement the direction from the city council with vigor and earnestness. So I don't want to make operational comments. My job is to execute policy from the council.
So again, I guess I don't see a gray area here, Nick. I'm asking in your opinion, if the commission is getting less revenue because of the request of the city council to increase the pilot for electrical, doesn't that imply that the rates are going to have to be increased to the customers to offset that revenue lost to the city on the pilot?
I think that's a much more complicated question than just a black or white. It's not a binary decision. I also think
Can I
that-
speak?
Well,
Please.
let him finish.
No, I think that there are tons of ways to save money in an organization. It's not just a binary decision, but yes, dollars are finite. So if you put $1 towards apples, you have one less dollar to spend on oranges. I understand that.
Well, it seems to me, if I could, if the commission is giving more money to the city through the pilot, and the commission is using those funds already for projects and other things that the revenue generated by electric is used for, it only, to me, directly applies to rate increases for the customers in order to offset that. And then in turn, it seems like now everything, rates increase, they also increase for everybody, including city use and utility use and water treatment facility use and water service use, all that stuff. And it's like, it seems like the snake eating its tail if we just keep increasing rates to give more pilot to the city to offset a levy, property tax levy, if that's what it's obviously being used for based on discussion last night. That's what I have to say, Chairman O'Day.
Okay, go ahead.
I've got a lot of thoughts on this. We just talked about it and it was brought to my attention a week ago, so I haven't had time to completely dig into it. But my first thought process and question I have for city council and the lawyer is, does it matter what we say? If we sit up here and we vote and we say, no, we're not doing it, can the city council just override it and do what they want anyway? I'd like that direct question answered by the city attorney in a simple way. Because if that's the case, I'm just wasting my time sitting up here and going to these meetings and doing everything I'm doing.
I
So,
would have the same question if I was in your seat.
Okay.
I would have exactly the same question.
so I would like that, I would like that answered by city council, staff, and the lawyer to know what the definition in the charter says. Because, I mean, basically, twice now I've sat up here and since I've been on the commission and did my homework and spent time making decisions and digging into issues to find out that the charter says the city can read it any way they want, and as long as they have a 4-3 vote, they can override anything we do. So that was my first thought, and I asked that question in our finance meeting, and I'm I haven't read Joel Engel's response, but I'd like to see that in the packet and in writing too. And then the second thing I would like, before I have if I have any say in this, if it matters what my vote is or what my opinion is, if I would like to see the financial outlook of if you, and I'm just gonna go how my mind works, I'll go down the rabbit hole, and Jeff started to talk about this. If we increase the pilot to 5%, and we increase our rates to offset that, who's the third largest power user in the city? Staff, Danny?
Charlotte's wastewater plant.
So the city's basically the third largest power user
Correct.
in the city, and the waste treatment plant has to pay us for the power they use.
Yes.
So if we raise the pilot by 5% and we increase our utility rates, we're just swapping money. The actual profit from the pilot is not gonna change. And I don't know if anybody at the city level has thought the whole process through. And I'd like to see somebody give me show me the math, show me the data on all the way through, thinking about what the ramifications are of us increasing our rates to the city, what that's gonna do. So those are the two things that I would like to see. I can't make a motion on this. I can't really until those two questions are answered, I don't know if there's a lot more data or things that I could talk about with this situation. It kind of blindsided me, but, you know, the city seems to get to interpret the charter, and as long as they got a 4-3 vote, they can manipulate it, so I guess I just need to know if it even matters what I say. That's all I got.
Nick, maybe you can answer, the additional pilot that you're asking for, the increase of, was it 53,000 for next year? Is that already in your levy projection?
So we set the preliminary levy last night, and there were several options put before city council. There were still two significant outliers when they set the preliminary levy: the pilot contribution and who we go with for our health insurance. We did go out for RFP for health insurance this year. We got those bids back. Council has yet to determine who they're going to go with. Staff has recommendations. So they had a spectrum last night. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but we give them numbers between 8% increase and 11.01% increase. And the council voted last night to set the preliminary levy to an 8% increase. So that was, if we looked at a pilot of 3%, which would have been $805,000, and if we went with staying with the Better Health Collective for our health insurance, our levy, the way we calculated it last night, was about 10.46%, and the city council set it at 8%. So we have significant cuts in the order of $200,000 plus that we need to come up with before we set the final levy. So there's not a direct correlation between the preliminary levy and pilot, because we're already $200,000 that we need to cut based on last night's preliminary levy.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Day.
Yes.
Nick, I heard Gabe Johnson specifically say pilot was included in revenue as part of that levy. So maybe I misunderstood what he said, but that was my question. How do we include a pilot when we don't know if the utility commission is going to approve it? And that was a specific conversation. I mean, I could pull up the meeting right now and we could listen to it if there's any question.
If you recall from that spreadsheet last night, Jeff, there was several rows going from 8% to 11.01%. And in the notes of some of those rows, some of those percentage increases included a pilot of $805,000, which would be 3%. Some of them included holding the pilot steady at the current mill rate. So there were several options within that spreadsheet. Some included holding the pilot steady at the current mill rate that we do, and some included setting that at 3%.
Okay, I think to your point then, as he said, well, if the commission were to approve it, we could use that then. That's maybe how I heard that in our going down from the 10 point whatever percent preliminary down to the 8%. So I would agree to what you said there.
So you need to adopt your final in November?
December
In
6th.
December,
whatever it is,
okay.
December 8th is when we're going to set the final levy.
Okay. Well, from what Commissioner Higgins said and what I've heard, it looks like we need to table this until our next meeting to get a couple more answers and a little better understanding. Is that what I'm hearing? Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to table this till some questions are answered and there's some more conversations we can have as a finance committee.
Second.
You gotta have a date when to table it too.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, what's the date your table?
Next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, with no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Move on to new business E, the resolution that Sally talked about and some bonding.
D. D.
Oh, I'm sorry, D, yeah. Review, recommend approval of revised billing representative job description.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
So, billing representative Kelly Dean retired effective August 29th. After reviewing and considering our organizational structure and needs, staff recommends to backfill that position with a few changes to that job description. Attached to the packet is the job description as recommended. We did have a red line version as well that depicting those changes. So at this point, staff is recommending that the commission recommend approval of the revised job description to the city council, and that an internal-only process be utilized for this job posting.
I would make the motion to approve the recommended changes to the job description.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Who's the direct supervisor for this person?
Be Jana Pernola, the business office supervisor,
For BPU or for the city?
both.
Both? Okay.
Anything further? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we can move on to E, the resolution on bonding. You want to take it, Danny?
So I did not have this in the time for the packet. I apologize. That was an oversight on my part. This is a resolution for the debt issuance for the water construction projects that are ongoing for this year. The bond council has asked that commission accept the resolution and put it forth. City council has already approved the resolution and gone forward. This is, again, for the water construction projects, as we have done in past years. We did have, this year, one of our debt rolled off. This would be coming back on, so it did not require an immediate rate increase to issue debt. So that was one of the highlights. We talked briefly at the finance committee meeting about using some of the investments to spend down and keep our bonding more stable. With next year, with the 210 project primarily, that's going to be a big bonding year for us. So instead of using that spend down this year, I guess the request for commission was to use that spend down next year during that time, and then looking for approval of this resolution to move forward with bonding for this year.
Do you know, Danny, what the rate was, the interest rate on the bond that's falling off versus what we're kind of looking at now?
I don't recall off the top of my head. It was within 0.25%.
It's close.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is there a motion for approval?
I would move to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Dolly, I haven't had any experience in this. You okay with this?
Yes.
Okay. If Dolly's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
It's a resolution, so it does require roll call.
Roll call.
Higgins?
Yes.
Matten?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Move on to staff reports. City administrator report?
You guys get to hear a lot from me today. My written report is attached. The only thing I wanted to mention was this Thursday, day after tomorrow, from 11:30 to 1:30 is our annual employee appreciation event. That's going to be at the Public Works facility. You are all invited. If anybody's planning on attending, please just let us know. But we're excited for that. Again, this Thursday from 11:30 to 1:30. That's all I have.
And where's that at? I'm sorry.
That's at the Public Works facility.
Okay. City council liaison report.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you all there on Thursday, and the rest of the staff. I think this is something that we should make time for. The council did approve inviting all respective commission, committee, and like planning and zoning, charter commission, transit committee, all of the volunteer members. It's always been utility commission and council members plus staff at both the public utility and city, which I like to think of it as we've talked about numerous times as one group of people as city employees. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope the other people on the different commissions and committees take advantage of it. It's a fun time, so that's all I got.
Thank you, Jeff. HR Director report.
My written report is in your packet if you have any questions. Otherwise, that's all I have.
Any questions for Chris? No?
I got a question.
Go for it.
The employee exit interview that I got, is that public?
No,
So only people that request it can see it?
no, it's the same as a performance evaluation that is considered private information. It is not something that is shared with the public or anyone else.
What about commissioners?
At this point, no,
Okay.
it is not.
Thank you.
Danny, Finance Manager report.
Nothing in addition to my report.
Okay.
Busy, been very busy.
Financials.
We're working through them. We did have, as we had talked with a couple months ago, there was, it felt like an error in the financial statements. We made some progress on that even this morning, but we will have reports next month for sure.
Okay, thank you. Operations Manager report.
Just one thing, looking for some guidance. We have completed the project at Country Manor for the water main and sewer extension between the city and, well, the city has made those connections. So we had some conversations early on. The council tabled it to let the project get finished and mature what that would look like. Mr. Havagorst has put together a few different options for that. We didn't have time to get them in the packet, but looking for direction or guidance on how the commission would like us to allocate those costs to that project. If you have any methodology or, and Mike can speak to this also, I think, but methodology or thought process on that for us.
Mike?
Yes, the project is complete. It came under budget, which was huge. And because we didn't need those valves, as Trent was indicating, the dollar amount could be shifted a little bit. In the council packet, we have multiple options for people to consider for the council and just how we're going to pay that 50-50 split, based on the depth of the sewer versus the water. We have like 3 or 4 different options in there for you and for the council to review. It was like $44,000 total. Country Manor, which is really good, they are going to be taking the profit. There's always a variable in there. There's like a $2,000 amount in there that they can charge on top of this. They are absorbing that just in good faith. And so it brings it down to like $42,000 and some change.
What are you asking us?
Just direction for methodology. We can bring something back. I know that they wanted to get this on the council packet and agenda for the next meeting, so I wanted to get it, at least the verbiage or the conversation in front of you. We can bring this back around to the finance committee if that's something that we want to pull a quick meeting together after we've had a chance. Danny, myself, and Mike are going to meet after this meeting to discuss it some more. We just wanted to know before we started those discussions if you guys had a path or a procedure you'd like us to follow.
So, just to get up to speed, sorry, Jeff, it was 42 grand,
Correct.
and it's because the sewer and water wasn't where it was supposed to be,
Correct.
and they had to, so we have to cover the cost of getting it to where it was supposed to be.
Yes.
And sanitary sewer is actually something that the city controls,
Correct.
and the water is something we control.
Correct.
Do they have that broke out, what the water versus the sewer cost?
No, not specifically. We just indicated, Jesse put down some, like a formula indicating because the depth is a little bit different. So the percentages shifted a little bit. And I can send that to
What are the ballpark percentages?
right here, 1 second. So the city covers, sorry, I'm just going to read it here. City covers 100% of the $42,311. Split the cost 50-50, be $21,000 each. Split the cost 50-50 with BPU providing allowance for a salvage gate valve, which even though this dollar amount, that item was changed, they still contributed to the project. So whatever BPU did contribute, it would be adjusted. So therefore, it'd be, city would be paying about 26,000, BPU would be paying about 16,000. Split the cost with consideration of depth to the actual utility, roughly 20 feet for the sewer line, 9 foot for the water main, and that split would therefore be 28,000 to the city, 14 to BPU. And then there's a 2/3, looking at it, the city would take on 2/3, Public Works would take on 2/3, BPU would take on 1/3. Those numbers are 33,000 for Public Works and 9,000 for BPU.
Can we make a motion and just get this done now?
Mr. Chair,
Oh, sorry.
could I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
When we look at these sewer line and the water line, are they vertically aligned, or is the water line on top of where the sanitary sewer line is? Are they separated by how many feet? Like how many, if they're not, are the lines like here, the top of your surface is here and the water's here and the sewer's down here? Are they spread apart, or are they like water and then?
I can't speak to that, but Trent, were you out there?
I was not on this project, but from mapping it, they're relatively stacked. They're within a few feet of each other, with the sanitary being the deepest at about 25 to 30 feet, depending on where you're
So
digging.
where I'm going with that, if you're gonna dig down to the sanitary, you would have had to dig down to the water. So I don't know if you're paying for the actual digging, if you're paying for the actual pipe. That's something I haven't heard yet. That's why this came up at council, if you remember. And my thought was, suppose you got two lines, you gotta go down 25 feet to the sanitary, and you gotta dig to where that water line's gonna go. Well, what's the difference in cost of digging for the water? You'd have to go down that far anyway. If you got a water line, the pipe costs so much for the water, the pipe costs so much for your sanitary line. Why then, if the city provided these numbers and they weren't correct, I can see we're doing, essentially, in my opinion, doing them a favor. They hadn't started digging yet, so this is all found out before any excavation ever occurred. I understand, according to our engineer, that the surface, the restoration of the street was a big cost. So, and then again, that goes back to your contractor digging through, having to repair that. Is that gonna be also included in utility costs? So we're always arguing about money, who pays what, where should it be applied equally? I haven't seen that yet. It's not in our packet. Will it be there for Monday? I hope so. So these are the questions I have. And again, my whole idea was to split it fairly between what the commission is responsible for and what the city street, the sanitary sewer. And this kind of goes back to the whole idea of getting everything under one roof, if it's done correctly. So that's all I have, Mr. O'Day.
Thank you. Mike?
I'd like to make a motion and then have a little discussion, but I would make a motion that we split this 50-50 with the city.
I'll second for discussion.
Thank you. Do I gotta wait for you to say that we can discuss? Or can
No, go ahead.
Okay. My thought is it's a minimal amount of money. I've been an excavating contractor my entire career. This crap happens. We've already spent enough time talking about it. We've already spent enough time trying to figure out the best paths, math, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, let's get the damn water hooked up and start. We have capacity. We need to sell more water. Our water sales and our sewer sales and electric sales have been stagnant or going backwards for a long time. Let's sell the water. Let's put this to bed and stop wasting staff's time trying to beat each other up over $9,000. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
My only concern or question is that we do have a gate valve that was not donated, but a part of this that was paid for. So there is expense that we've already paid. Your second option seems to be the most fair, considering there is money's already out. I can't imagine they're stacked. You've got shoring, you've got for both sewer and water, but it must be offset slightly.
Just by a few feet.
Because if you have a serious sewer line issue, that you're gonna be that's why I wouldn't understand why they would be stacked.
We deal with it every day.
Around it,
We
yep.
deal with it every
But
day.
anyway, with that being said, we have expenses already incurred, so I think your second option, if you want to reread the second option, seems to be the most fair.
So essentially what
Oh,
you're.
I think it was the
So
third
this,
one.
it's really the third bullet.
Yep.
Danny, I just texted it to you. It's split 50/50 with consideration to BPU's contribution to the project, such as the old example was the gate valve. That's not the case, but they did contribute. We would find out that dollar amount, take it off the 50/50, and that would be the new dollar amount. It would be roughly 26,000 for Public Works, 16,000 for BPU.
Is there a motion to go with that one?
That would be, well, you.
I would amend my motion to go with that, what Mike just described.
Okay, we have an amended motion.
And
Is there
I
a second?
second to that amendment.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I will add staff appreciates that insight. Thank you. End of my report.
Okay, thank you, Trent. Wastewater manager report.
Everything's contained in the report. If there's any questions or clarity, I can answer any questions at this time.
I just want, may I?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want the filtration plant, I just want to note, it was a wow factor. May I just read it? Or you can, I'm just impressed with the amount of iron removal as well as the manganese. It's truly amazing what you guys are doing down there, and it's impressive. So I just wanted to point that out. As well as your, the call out on the electrical, I didn't mention that, so I appreciate the grids that you're doing on the electrical side of it.
Current staff know the ins and outs of that plant.
Sure.
Like the back of their hands. Incredible. So
How are we doing on our land application? That was a big sigh.
we are, with all of the strategies and new implementation and all the requirements that came down, we are hopefully starting today, and you'll see the trucks going. With that being said, I am very appreciative of the appreciation this Thursday that everybody is putting in. We are making exceptions to, you might see some semis at the garage, or parking might be sparse, but they are going to be stopping in as they're working, so we will make the best of it.
Okay, any questions for Charlie?
I just want to thank Charlie for including some more details, make it a little bit more relatable in your report. Appreciate that.
Thanks for dumbing it down for us, is what he's saying.
I didn't say that, Charlie.
Just a question, is
Yep.
Baxter, are we no longer selling to Baxter then, water?
This last August, there was nothing to bill.
Okay.
So they didn't need the interconnect.
All right.
In October, I want to say it's 8th, they're going to be doing some work, so they'll be going on full
Okay,
here coming up this next month.
all right, thank you.
Is there anything else?
Nick's got something.
Nick?
If you'll indulge me and just give me a quick second, I should have mentioned this earlier, but I think it's important. At last night's city council meeting, city council did identify the work group that's going to convene to go through the hiring process for the public utilities director. That'll be from the commissioners, it'll be Commissioner Anglin, Commissioner Matten. From the council, it'll be Councilman Johnson and Councilman Chesak. And then from staff, it'll be Chris and I. And as of now, I think we've received 4 applicants. So we'll be reaching out to that group to set up some interviews shortly.
Well, thanks for that information.
When does the application process close, or is that done now?
We crafted it with GMP this time to have it be like a rolling application. So we can, if we find candidates that come across our desk that are qualified, we can act on that immediately.
So there's no time deadline to apply? That's
There's,
what
I think on the website, it says the first look, I think, is October 15th. But as we get applicants, we can interview kind of as we go if we find good applicants.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Oh, I got some.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commission member discussion, go for it.
Thank you. I guess I would like to just, talk about three things. The first one is, we've had some meetings and we've talked about our charter and all the issues that we are running into, that operationally, cash flows, expenses that are double dipping, and I know this has all been talked about long before I got here, but since I've been here and since I've been looking at it and studying it, we've got some big issues with the way these revenues and expenses are split, and I sure hope that the city council and staff, Nick, I know you've talked about this and you're working on it, but we need a charter change. This charter's antiquated, the way that we all run, and the way we operate and the decision-making processes are messed up. We're wasting a lot of time. We're spending time as BPU commissioners on stuff that we really don't have any say in, and if we don't have any say, just tell us what to do. Or eliminate us, or whatever. And I have lots of ideas on how to minimize it and make it simpler and make it better to increase revenues and create fill in capacity voids. But I just want everybody to know that I can't stop thinking about it. And then my other two things are kind of together. We have capacity. When we start talking about what's going on with the sewer and water issue, we have a lot of capacity. We can sell a lot more water. We can take a lot more sewer on. We can sell more power. And these are all revenue streams that already our costs are already kind of fixed. I deal with the same thing in my businesses all the time. We sell 50 weddings a year at Northern Pacific Center, but we could have 70. And what that extra 20 sales does to us and our revenue creates opportunity for us to invest, to build more, to be proactive with our infrastructure on that site versus reactive to when things are breaking. And I see a big pattern of that with the city, and I'm okay with taking care of Baxter, but one example is the water. I had made a suggestion that we put a minimum usage on the water that they're gonna use. We had and we didn't make any money. We could have sold them a whole bunch of water. They didn't care. They agreed to it. They would have signed it with a minimum, but we're Minnesota nice, and I want to be more Minnesota nice. I'm not. I don't understand. I want to be proactive in how I run businesses and how the city that I've invested into runs. And I just want to throw this out there for capacity. This crypto money is real money. It's a bigger number than I or this whole city is used to dealing with. And there's a big opportunity, huge opportunity, bigger than anybody understands in this room. You want to talk about a pilot? Just put the pilot on crypto. Raise the rates a little bit, or put some kind of a pilot program or some kind of a fee on the crypto people. Make them pay for it. Make them pay the pilot. That way we as a commission can be proactive with our infrastructure needs instead of just fixing crap and putting bubble gum and duct tape on everything right before it breaks. So I can't help but think that way. I'm a capitalist, I'm an entrepreneur. I've started with nothing and I've had to build everything that I've built to this day. And I sure would like, I know a city can't run exactly the way I do, but I sure would like to see us start thinking about how can we create more revenue streams, how can we fill capacity in with our utilities to increase revenues so that we can be proactive versus reactive to everything. So, thanks for the time.
Anything, Dolly?
No, sir.
Adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Done.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.